All right, ready? We're going live.
Is this thing on?
All right, everybody, we're live. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining us again at episode 16 of the Adaptive Podcast. This week, we have a very special guest, Mike Trottini, one of our beloved training partners and friends. And we are going to go over some UFC 274, which is going to go on tonight at 10 p.m. We're going to talk about some of the headlining fights and all the other shit going on there. So we got a great show
Charles
for you tonight.
Just a Gaethje,
Let's go. Yes, thank you, Ed, for supporting me in that. We got a great show coming up for you guys right after this. This is the Adaptive Podcast. Oh, yes, thank you, Ed, for supporting me in that. We got a great show coming up for you guys right after this. This is the Adaptive Podcast. We got a great show coming up for you guys right after this. This is the Adaptive Podcast. We got a great show coming up for you guys right after this. This is.
Yo, what is happening? Yeah. Oh my god. It's an alternate reality.
Wow.
We have to do a little play on Mike's song.
I'm pretty sure that was coming from Eli's laptop, but we'll go by it. Anyway, guys, welcome again to the Adaptive Podcast. Tonight we have Mike Trottini here with us. Mike, can we hear you? Test your mic.
How about now? Yeah. Hey, something's working.
I just stopped.
Good
Again, guys, thank you for joining us. This is the Adaptive Podcast.
I'm looking at him and it's making me laugh more. I can't even look over at you.
We hope that you guys enjoyed the trippy intro as called out by Vic Santa here. It was pretty trippy. Viking Jumps wants to know, can we even work computers? I mean, we're trying our very best here.
Richie. Oh, man.
Right,
You know, we're doing what we
supposed to be
can.
on tonight, but we obviously can't.
We
get our
suffered
shit
some technical difficulties,
Yeah.
but
So,
Oh, shit. You guys cut the poor guy like 5 minutes ago.
Oh,
yeah, we're not sure why that happened. AMAC is glad that everyone else heard that bullshit because she thought she was losing her mind. Again, this is the episode 16 of the Adaptive Podcast. We're here today with Mike Trottini. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure to check out our shit at Adaptive Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram and at adaptivejujitsu.com. You can check out our new gear. We got long and short sleeve rash guards, patches, and some other shit. If you guys enjoyed the intro music tonight, that was from our guest tonight. Mike Trottini has an album available on Apple Music and Spotify. It's called Quarantined. We played a song of his called Apple Blossom.
No, you totally played the wrong song.
I didn't play that song.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, I played Awakening. I played the opening track, Awakening. All right, guys. All right. Check out his album Quarantine on Apple Music and on Spotify. He was nice enough to let us use our music during the intro, even though we picked the wrong song. Sorry, Mike.
That's fun.
That was Awakening. Next week, or maybe during the outro, we'll play Apple Blossom.
Maybe.
Hopefully. Yeah. We'll try.
Maybe if the computers don't shut off on us.
So make sure you guys follow him at Mike_Trottini on Instagram. Check out his music. So how you guys doing tonight? That was a hell of an intro.
Man.
Best one yet?
We made it through. Might have been the best one yet.
Wow.
Ed can't even talk. Write him off for the episode. Episode 16 with Eli, Lenny, and Mike.
Oh my goodness.
He's gonna go take a shit early tonight.
Yeah, he's gonna take a shit early tonight. He won't wait till the
Did
end
he
of the
really
episode. Oh man.
He's like crunched over in the corner.
He needs a break. Man.
Shit. So thank you everybody for joining. If you're here, please shout out, leave a comment, like, subscribe, leave a comment below, both in the live section and in the static comment section below. It helps kind of circulate our stuff. We're glad to see a large number of viewers tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, what do you guys want to start with? We got Mike here tonight. We got a lot to talk about.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you, man.
On
Thank
your
you so
promotion.
much.
I think it's incredibly well deserved. You beat the ever living shit out of me every single night. You're definitely, for me, you've been a brown belt for a while.
Thanks, man.
At least from what I felt of like other purple belts, like your level of intensity and your ability to still keep it smooth at that hard of a level, I think it's really shows how much time you've put into your craft.
That
dude.
means a lot.
Yeah, man. So Ed, are you okay over there, bro?
Ed's back, everyone. Maybe. He loved it. It was his favorite intro ever. Where you say, Ed, do you remember when we did the Adaptive Podcast episode 16? It
Right.
was your favorite.
I want to be on the show more. It's pretty cool.
Oh, man.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
And that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have a great night.
Oh, man.
So, what were you putting
I just
up?
said congratulations. I said,
Yeah, so Mike recently got promoted to brown belt. Dude, congrats.
Thanks,
That's
man.
awesome.
Thanks, man.
You put in all the work. I mean, always a tough partner, right? From my perspective, I always enjoy rolling with you. I think it's a challenge. Our styles match each other a little bit. I
Very
think that's
much so.
Why?
It's kind of like a race to top position. I feel like.
Yeah, we've said that before. After training, like
Yep.
it's like who can get the advantageous position first, and then that person pretty much dictates the role. Although Mike's being very generous because he strong arms me all the time. I say that now.
dude, that is like, honestly, with my jujitsu, for a really long time, when you're like, you guys remember when you were a white belt and like you feel like you're just being utterly destroyed by everyone and you feel like nothing you can do is right. One of the moves that got me to like have more confidence in what I was doing and to stop thinking so much and just react was your stiff arm. The Trottini.
I think you're the one
sweep.
that uses it the most, besides me.
Oh, dude, I use it in a way where it's like, okay, you don't want to use it all the time because you don't want to, especially for higher belts. Like I love when I like maybe catch Radji with it every once in a while, and he even looks back at me and he's just, like he gets mad at me and he's like prepared for it now, so I don't use it. But like you did it like to me, and it taught me like there's certain people you just do it to over and over again because they're clearly not adapting.
I mean, you hit me with it like 2 or 3 times, even with me totally aware of it. So it's
Right.
kind of a
Well, now it's cool because you feel it coming, you attack. I know you're going to feel it coming and attack, so I try to stop it, and then now it's like we're ice climbing.
Yeah.
Why don't you explain what this move is
Well, the master should explain it. I think.
for the people?
I think the master
that are
should
listening?
explain it.
I mean,
not
it's
the pupil.
basically just like
It's a stiff arm behind
Just
the
stiff
armpit,
arm.
essentially. When somebody like
There
they're
is
in your side control and they pass their arm like over the head, you usually catch their arm either at the elbow or the armpit.
Yeah.
Just stiff arm.
it's just 100% timing. Like it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing fancy. It's just like the timing of
But
it.
it's
Give me a
funny
little
because
more.
you haven't gotten me
I
in
can't
that
hear
in a
it.
while.
Yep.
And you just did it like we were doing like a technique.
Oh
the
yeah,
other
yeah.
day. It was slow motion. Will's walking over like, why are you letting him do that to you? Why are you I was like, damn it, man.
The reactions, the people's
Nothing.
reactions are the funniest part of it. It's like, the fuck just happened,
Well, as this happened to me, I was like, all right.
Yeah, yep.
All right.
I think that
It is.
Pull on your headphone cord so I know which one it is. I think
it's this one. It's like I can hear Mike
Can
clearly.
we
I
just
can hear
get it
myself
together,
clearly.
boys?
I can't hear Eddie really well.
Why?
There we go. That's
Can you
better.
hear me better? I have to.
There you go.
Oh,
Now I hear
fucking
you.
on top of it.
Sorry, dude.
Fucking
I couldn't
eating
hear
the
you.
mic
Ed. I was
right
just
now.
making sure. You
Um,
did what your explanation, by the way, is obviously what it is. But for me, it's like a transfer of weight. When I feel my partner overcommitting to that, because if he just moves his arm over to the other side of my head, that doesn't necessarily mean that the sweep is there. There has to be a committal, and the hips have to kind of move a little bit. Now you could do that on your own. You can push the person and do that. But I really like only using that move when the person, like you feel them just whoop, like the tilt.
Yep.
Well, it's like Mike said after I explained it. He's like, it's more in the timing. It's
Yeah,
in the
it's
timing of-
100% of the timing thing.
It's as they're coming over, you grab them before they can set a fucking base.
Right.
Essentially. Thank you.
Now it sounds awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Thank
I'm
you.
like on top of it.
Off.
You're good now.
I'm
Yeah.
fucking on top of the
It's a
thing.
little loud.
So it's about the timing when the person's passing their arm over and you catch
So-
them and you explode up.
So I think
Stiff
that's
arm.
like a cool like for me, it was a cool thing because it's like, you know, when you grab onto something and you start really doing it over and over again and making it yours, that's what kind of helps you fall in love with the sport even more, because you're dealing with all this difficulty of overcoming just being destroyed on a nightly basis. So when you finally learn something that works, and like for me, that really has been like the thing that works. You know what I'm saying?
I think I was probably somewhere around blue belt too, like early blue when I started using that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten better at it over the years, but yeah, I think I was somewhere around blue when I started using it.
You get it on everybody, and not many people use
just
it
about,
either.
not everybody, but just about.
You know, majority.
Yeah. When did you start jiu-jitsu?
7.5 years. That's what's the most mind blowing is the amount of time I've been here. It seems like maybe it seems like 4 or 5 years. It's just bizarre that it's been 7.5 years.
Just went by quick.
Goes by quick
even for me.
Yeah.
Like over 8 years now. You know, you too.
Yeah.
Same amount of time. We're like 8 years and a couple months.
A lot of time subtracted, but
doesn't
like
matter.
mat time.
Yeah,
but overall presence of mind and being in jiu-jitsu. Yeah,
we can all say that in a sense,
right?
You know what I mean, but
you're one of the few though, Len. Like the guys that usually don't stay consistent, like you feel them lag behind, but you could be gone for 6 months. You come back, it's like, well, shit. Len feels like he just never left. You know?
Thanks, man.
I mean, he's one of the only ones that's he's really one of the only ones that's like that. Like it's like
he's
he
athletic,
never,
man.
Yeah,
this guy just can hang. It's all about his cardio. The minute he starts,
kick my ass.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I keep watching shit. I mean, thank you guys for saying that. I always feel like I'm just lagging crazy behind when I spend time off.
Hell no.
And I come back.
You're naturally gonna feel it because, like, right, styles and matchups. Naturally, you're gonna feel that against certain people. There's gonna be certain people you're like, oh, I still got it. You know what I mean? But it's all about matchups and styles and stuff like that. And like sometimes there's people that do point out, and you're like, oh yeah, I need to work on some shit, my timing or whatever. If you've taken time off or whatever, you figure that out. Depending on certain people, some people have a broader range in their game too. So it's like, oh, all right. Certain people don't really change them. They might get better at what they do, but they don't have like a broad spectrum yet. You know what I mean? So you're like, all right, that's still, you know,
yeah.
I don't know what's going with that, but
yeah, I don't know. I think I just like to play cautious. Like I like to try to read, even if I've been out for a while. You know,
keep a pulse.
So, yeah, I try to keep the pulse, and I mean, I don't know. I don't want to sit here and talk about my own jiu-jitsu.
So
feels awkward.
So when you were, when you first started,
let's talk about Mike's jiu-jitsu. He's the guest there tonight.
So when you first started, what were your like kind of what was life like going into jiu-jitsu, and like what were your first impressions?
I was so terrible. Half of me hated jiu-jitsu and never wanted to come back, and then the other part of me was like, this is the greatest sport. I never want to leave.
Really?
The other part of you was building a gym in your garage.
yeah. Yes, it actually did happen.
That's true because we trained.
Yeah,
we were white belt.
Yeah.
You and the twins.
It's funny. I spent all this money like getting masks and stuff, and then we got keys for the gym like a month later, and it was like we never went back to the garage. But that was fun. Those training sessions are fun. We did that before a couple tournaments.
It was nice. You had the garage open. It was like spring, summer.
Made sure my neighbors like don't fuck with me. This is what happens when you come in. You know,
that's hilarious.
But my grass is a little too long for you this week.
So let me ask you,
walk in my garage and tell me that.
How long until it wore off? Though you're like, yeah, I'm fucking. This is me. I'm doing
until
this.
I felt good.
Well, not even just good, but you're like, nah, I'm fucking. I'm in this for the long haul.
So I think day one, I fell in love with it. Like as kind of like as bad as I was, I had no fight training prior, so I had no idea of. I almost didn't even really know what jiu-jitsu was when I walked in on the mats. I just know the first night I left, I was like, I want to do this. You know, I was really scared of it. You know, I was worried about getting hurt, you know, in my job and my family, but I was like, this is like the coolest thing. I can't.
You seem like a guy that likes to take on challenges and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
You know, that's cool.
I was hooked. I mean, I was hooked from day one. Probably to answer that question though, I was probably into my blue belt where I was like, this is like, you know, like I'm never gonna give this up. This
that's
is
awesome.
gonna, you know.
So
I think that's a turning point for most people.
Yeah,
right.
Blue belt.
I didn't really feel
It's like the pivotal moment.
my second stripe on my blue belt is when I started to finally feel like, okay, like I kind of know what's going on now. Like it took me a while. That's why, like I was talking to Neil. I feel like the guys that are coming up now are getting so much better, so much quicker than I was, or that like our group was when we were at that level.
Naturally, because more to learn from,
Yeah.
more training partners.
And think about how many people like have that, like the drive and the mindset to disseminate that information while we're on the mats, right?
Yeah.
You got Ed, you got me, you got Elijah now.
mean,
You got
dude,
a ton of it. There's a dozen of us who just love the sport that are great at connecting with the newbies, for lack of a better term in the moment, and to kind of help them.
Yeah.
Right. Not overcoach, like,
but I feel like us as a whole, like we've coached the
helps.
newer guys more than like I was coached by. There weren't as many higher belts, when I started.
Look at this. I mean, it's kind of why Adaptive started. Like, I mean, we're trying to grow our community. So the fact that we're sitting here, we're not on the mat right now. We're having a conversation about it. That's just growing the level of IQ in the room because of the communication. We're literally spending our time and our energy doing this physically, but the act of verbalizing it is now solidifying it for us to project. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what's making you think about it?
I mean, we're opening the door. I think people like Len was saying about talking on the mats. That was like the first step. That was like, and as people, as jiu-jitsu's growing, this is happening in pods all over the place, all over the country, where people are coming together and having conversations about, well, how do you accelerate, or what do you expect, or what do you do? And those questions get asked, and people plug into sources. When they plug in, just like music, sports, all those things you plug into, to pop Sherdog. Like we go to Sherdog to watch, to check out the card, to look at the rankings, where somebody else maybe go to the UFC. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to a specific place for that content. Now that there's like this being created from higher belts, dude, imagine what white belts are going to look like in like 5 years. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like but again,
like all sports, right? They evolve. You have guys that are ahead of their time. And then it's just each generation, right? It's its own generation, no doubt. It's like hard to compare. It's always hard to compare, but like you got to feel like in the evolution as we progress, just the next generations are always just going to be better. And there's always going to be behind you that stood out no matter what. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? But
we have a really cool group too now, the white belts. We have a great group.
Everybody, man.
I feel like Radji's energy really like attracts people who are cool. Yeah. And if you're cool, you could train there, right?
Man.
Like
the vibe in the gym lately has been like, we've been saying it. It's been
phenomenal.
And
everyone is an extension of him.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it even more special is that we don't nobody tries to like trump anybody or like, you know what I mean? Like we truly do leave the ego at the door. I mean, there's always some ego when, when you're rolling and whatnot, but you're not, it's about the people around you. Like when I roll with somebody, like I want them to be better. If they're doing something over and over again, and it's like the fourth roll that I've been on, like, yo, bro, you are legit leaving this entire area of my body open. Like, what are you doing? Like, attack. I think that's what.
How long
really
have you
helps
been
us
in?
grow.
How long are you training?
This is gonna be 3 years.
You've been there that long?
Wait,
yeah.
No way.
What does that mean? Is like when is it gonna be 3 years?
October.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
3
like
years.
2.5 years.
So 2.5.
Like,
I mean,
it'll
you're
be
kind of
3
not even really
years.
close to October.
It really feels.
That's why I asked. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, it's, I'm in my third year.
It'll be
I'm in
3
my second
years
year,
next
and
May.
It'll be 3 in October. But it
Still
feels
mad. I
like
thought you were gonna say like a year and a half.
No.
Shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, man. Feels good.
He's
3 years next
leveled
May,
up
baby.
in the last like month.
It
Big
feels
time.
good. I'm dude.
He's ready for new bosses and Elden Ring.
I feel like I'm here. I feel like
Fuck Elden Ring.
can't believe you guys sucked me into it.
No one sucked you into anything.
Yeah,
I kept warning
I
you.
got
would've
out.
stopped
I said,
talking
I was like,
about it.
fuck that.
They would've
Misery
stopped
loves
talking
company,
about
my
I don't
friend.
know how you
Misery.
take the heroin, bro.
I fall asleep like every night, like with the controller in my hand, whether I'm playing or not. Like sometimes I'm like falling asleep there with the TV thinking I'm going to turn the Xbox on, and I just fall asleep.
He's like, this game is so boring.
Oh, it's such a good game.
No, it's not boring. It's more like I want to
Want to
break my TV and burn my house down.
My bloody fingers.
Yeah.
Did you
all about
play
fingers.
other sports?
Nothing much. I was more like into the music thing.
So
I
you-
did like the grade school like baseball, basketball, football thing. But once high school hit, I was 100% music.
You were
That's
part of the
I
band?
basically like
So, like, talk a little bit about your
Yeah.
music journey. Like, what
go down
did,
the music.
sure.
Was there anybody in your family that was like that inspired you to want to play, or
Oh, yeah.
like it was just also outside like bands that you're like, oh, I fucking love music and I just want to play?
So I started my mom when I was 6. My mom's like, you have to pick an instrument, you have to play something. And I wanted nothing to do with like really any, I just didn't want to take lessons.
Mhm.
And she's like, well, you got to pick something. And my cousin played guitar, my cousin Eddie, and he was 6 years older than me. So, I mean, he was phenomenal at it. So I was like, I'll pick guitar. And he was really the only reason why I even stuck with it, because I just didn't like, I was young. I was only 6. And I remember being frustrated with being really bad at like practicing and playing. But he would come over the house and he'd pick up my guitar and he played it, and it would sound like perfect.
Mhm.
So like I kind of use that. I'm like, all right, if I stick with it long enough, I'll get like that. Like he was always like my end goal.
Mhm.
And then probably around like 14 or 15, that's when I started to get really good. When
That's
high school
awesome.
hit,
That's pretty
yeah.
young too.
When high school hit, I was playing guitar maybe like 10 hours a day. I would come home from school. I put my books on the bed in case my mom because my mom would be like, you got to do like homework and stuff. And
Yeah.
I would kind of like have that all set up on the bed in case she ran up the stairs. But I literally, from the moment I got home to school till like 2 a.m., I was like playing
Mom,
my
I'm
guitar.
reading.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Mom. I even had I applied to the Berklee College of Music when I was 18. I wanted to be a professional full-time musician. I thought I was going to be a famous rock star like any 18-year-old would.
Mm.
Yeah, duh.
So, yeah, I mean, why not,
Yeah, why would
What? You're a rock star now.
But, yeah, I played pretty much nonstop until I started jiu-jitsu. And then when I started jiu-jitsu, I fell so in love with this that I just kind of gave up guitar for a long
Wow.
time.
That says a lot because
It was the only point in my life when I wasn't playing guitar.
Which
Which was 5 years. I didn't pick up my guitar again until the quarantine hit,
Tells-
and then that's when I recorded the album.
Tells me a lot about what jiu-jitsu does for the headspace.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Because like, if anybody's listening, if you've heard Mike, then you understand he's not just your average Joe at guitar. He's legit. He's like a black belt
Thanks,
at
man.
guitar. And
Yeah.
then he took jiu-jitsu very serious, and he put that to the side, something he was already pretty much mastering. I'm like, all right, you could always master something, but you can always continue to practice
Sure.
and be better, right? But like same thing with
I didn't even
jiu-jitsu.
miss it though. Like I didn't even.
That's just how powerful
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu
it
is.
is. It's,
The
like
music's very powerful.
my mind was 100% focused on jujitsu.
That's crazy.
I probably picked up my guitar 10 times over those 5 years. And
Wow.
it
Was it
literally,
a weird feeling when you picked it up?
I didn't
Like,
even really. I was like, like it just. I had like almost zero passion.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I was listening to music.
He's like, what's
all
this thing
all
called
that
again?
time.
Of course, but music's powerful, right?
Sure.
But the fact that it took you out of your element, like
Yeah.
think about it, that was like probably a major hobby.
It was everything.
for-
Like I looked at the world through my music, and now I look at the world through my jujitsu. Like it totally switched.
But now you have both of them.
yeah.
Which is fucking great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is
And it
dope.
only motivates you on both ends,
Yeah.
back and forth, which is great. And anything else you want to master, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
cool. Jack of
It
all
was
trades
it
over
was
here.
weird getting back into it. It took me like a good month or two before I like. It was
Well-
very strange, like getting back into playing again.
Fucking the bullshit that happened in 2020 will do that to you, right?
Yeah.
being
Fuck.
isolated like that.
Not me. That year and counting.
So
Why did I take?
Mike
that
doesn't
out?
know
What's
this,
it?
but I have a video clip here of him after his first guitar lesson, which is pretty impressive. So if you guys want to check that out, we're gonna play it for you guys right now.
You're doing the tripping stuff again.
I'm doing all the crazy shit.
You got probably. That shit's sick, bro. That shit's sick.
I get one guitar lesson. One.
Yeah.
I mean, I did learn that like 5 minutes right before I recorded that.
Yeah.
that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking, don't you boast to me. When am I getting my lesson, man?
So if you guys enjoyed that, please check out Mike's album, available on Apple Music and Spotify. It's called Quarantined. We played you a little preview at the beginning of this episode.
Maybe we should play another
Great shit.
little preview of his Apple Blossom thing.
No,
The
man,
one
you
that we
gotta
were
know it.
intended to play.
How
you
was
guys want to hear Apple Blossom? You go search that shit in Apple Music and Spotify
I like that
right
better.
now.
How-
See, I set it up.
Yeah,
that was the
that was a
alley
nice
oop,
one. That was a
man.
nice
That's what I'm
one.
saying.
So why don't you tell us about that? Why don't you tell us how you decided to fucking do an album? That shit's crazy.
Because
Like,
you couldn't fucking do jiu-jitsu.
yeah, can't do anything.
Bullshit was shut
Anything. We were,
down.
yeah, like
Yeah.
everything shut down.
Fucking bullshit.
Well, we were kind of trained jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, we were still training.
No one
Never
knows
stopped.
about that, man.
We never stopped.
I did for like 3 months. That was the
we
longest
did stop
stretch.
for like a month. I
It
think
was
we
a
did
month.
stop.
It wasn't
Most people.
three.
Then I didn't know people were training. I'm like, motherfuckers training. What the fuck? I was working all these hours of
No,
hating life. I was
it's
thinking
just-
about Harry Curry and.
That's right. That's right. You were working
I'm
like
just kidding,
crazy.
everybody. I wasn't
You
really
remember
good
the
at.
first time you came back?
Yeah, I got fucked up. I was like, what the fuck? What happened to me? And nobody.
Yeah, dude, I never really stopped. It was just 2 weeks that I was with.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's
Two-
awesome.
2 weeks
yeah,
with
good for
Radji.
you. Yeah,
That-
awesome.
He definitely
Fuck you.
came back and got fucked up.
I mean, this guy was working like 80-hour weeks.
No, dude, it was even worse than that. I think he was like at like 100. It was nuts.
Not in the beginning. It wasn't until that fall when I got my own store.
Hmm.
I was
I think they set up a cot for him in the store.
over this.
That's great.
Over this.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So in your journey, you know, what difficulties did you have? Like, did you have points in time where you felt challenged to a level, since you know you like taking challenges on? Did you feel challenged to a level where you're like, am I gonna get through this?
You mean jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the entire fucking year and a half of being a white belt.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, I remember I was 6 months in and I was like,
Those are hard times.
I didn't even know where I was. Like, there would be a guy on top of me. I'm like, is this side control? Is this half? Like, I didn't even know what the fuck was going on.
But it's
Mhm.
amazing when it clicked for you. It clicked for you. It was like you were just like you went from, you know,
Yeah.
somebody that wasn't, you know, that was having a hard time with it, I suppose. And all of a sudden clicked and it was like you just
Yeah. I
You
will
have
say
been.
it totally didn't come. Like, some guys, like the twins, like it comes naturally
Mhm.
to them. You, like, I mean,
yeah,
all
but
you
like
guys.
but
I mean,
still now it's like we
Yeah,
have
now
fucking
it's,
but my,
you
that's
know.
my point. Like, and anybody, if they want, as long as they stick with it, it'll just
Yeah.
it'll just
Yeah.
click in.
no, it does. It totally does.
You know
right?
what I mean? Sometimes
definitely
it
what
just
it is.
takes a little bit longer for some
We
people.
preach that all the time. I mean, Radji preaches it all the time. You know, you
Mhm.
just keep coming and training, you're going to get better.
Because it's hard to think of that moment. Like, I can't pinpoint the moment. Like, when I think back of training with you and even training with the twins and stuff, like, I really, like, sure, I remember a point where I was able to coach you guys
Mhm.
because I was there for longer than you at that time. But I don't remember a time where it was just like easy pickings for rolling, like maybe when you first started. But it's like, you know, you guys have been there for so long.
Yeah.
That like, I don't think back to a time where like,
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I
all
mean? Like,
them-
I was that much better than you
Yeah.
really at all, because yeah, like Ed said, you picked it up, you moved on really quickly, and then like by the time you were a blue belt,
yeah, exactly. I was gonna
It
say
was
it's like, but
like-
it's like it's
Yeah.
always been that way.
you
Like,
know,
white belts.
it was like,
as
let's get it on, bro. Like this
Yeah.
is awesome. It's
Yeah.
a great roll every time.
Yeah, it's like I mean, anybody once they get the blue belt, it's like, oh, you're a challenge now.
Yeah.
You know, like even 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 at our level, man, it's like no offense to white belts, you know, you just don't know any better, but you'll get there. Just stick with it.
Offense.
Yeah.
But-
Offense intended.
But once you get the blue belt, like yeah, you could still obviously you're purple brown belt, you're gonna be able to handle a blue belt, but there's still a challenge. It's not like I could just do it, you know,
Yeah.
I want at will. Like it's sometimes you can.
well, you have
but
you have to have a game plan. Like you have to figure out what they're doing
Mhm.
and how are you gonna combat that, right? It's not just like a purple on white.
you're-
It's like I will do whatever I want to do to you. Basically, you might be tough because you're herky jerky or you're using a lot of strength or whatever. But
and that's
you know what I mean, like
that's
you don't
pretty
even
much
have to figure out what you want to do. You could just fucking do it.
Yep.
Well, yeah, absolutely, because you obviously are steps ahead. That's the only difference. Is
You can bait them into moves.
You can think about the game on a different level. That's the only difference between belts when you really think about it. Is like,
There's a clarity there that you have.
Sometimes it has nothing to do with athleticism or skill. It's just like it's mat time. It's experience. You just know how to think about things differently because you're just advanced because you've seen those positions so many times, and
you just naturally close the space and drop your hip here, drop your knee. Like you just do it.
Yep.
It's not
muscle
someone has
memory.
to tell you, hey, drop there. You're leaving a lot of space. Like at that point, you just do it. Which I always come back to this point, which frees up your mind. Right. When you're doing things that you should do without thinking of them, muscle memory, your actual like the pistons in your brain are free to think your forward moves instead of like what should I do to react to this position? You know what I mean? Or to think forward.
That probably hit me like around purple, I'd say, where I could like mindlessly move like that. Before it was kind of like, what am I doing? But I think at some point within like purple, I was like, I could kind of move without really having to think too much about it.
I would say the same for me.
Yeah.
Say halfway through my blue belt, it was like I was halfway there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It was almost like I was like naturally hitting things. It was like I could think about things, but I didn't have the full understanding until I was like purple belt. And then now obviously as brown, it's like, all right, I could really think like even Radji explains it all the time still. And now we can have a better picture of it. But when he's explaining like, oh, you're setting up moves, it's like you go here. Oh, in case that fails, you go back to here. Oh, look, you could fall back into this position. You know what I mean? Certain, transitions and sequences, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like along that same timeline, I kind of feel that I agree with you too. And Mike said it before that around like 2 stripes in blue, you kind of started feeling a different relationship with your jiu-jitsu. Like when I think back to that time, I remember being more offensive. Like I felt like I had a more confidence, like move forward and stuff. And like what you're saying now at purple belt, late blue into purple belt, like you almost have a different relationship with the gravity, like the spacing between your body and your opponent and the ground, right? Like how to like I didn't really understand the right way. I had to like switch my hips towards the feet and towards the head, right? Those different relationships as you're passing the guard when you're only making it halfway past and you need to address getting past the legs and stuff like that. Like those are the types of things that I really started to understand more at that level, like 2 stripes blue and up, and just got better and better as I became purple. And then like by the time you become purple, then you really have a really good understanding of how to distribute that weight and quickly too, right? Like you have to close that space between you and the ground before they can get the underhook or whatever, right? Insert variable here, but
So how many stripes are you at?
1.
5.
1. I'm probably like halfway, I guess, through to the next one. Who knows?
How long ago did you get your first one?
I got my first one in January.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was January. Pretty sure. What I was going to say before was I said last night to somebody, I said, where I'm at right now, I feel like I know where all like the highways are. Like thinking of like New Jersey, like I feel like I know where the turnpike is, I know where the Parkway, 287, Route 9, Route 18, but
sometimes you have traffic.
Exactly. And sometimes you hit traffic and then you're like, oh, which way do I go? Yeah.
Damn it, what's the fastest route? This is slow me down a lot,
I feel like all of the major concepts of jiu-jitsu that I feel confident in at least being able to have a conversation about. I don't feel like, what's that? You know what I mean? Like, I know I can understand or at least appreciate or identify, but being able to do is a whole nother thing. Like being able to do everything. Like sometimes I like even like yesterday when the twins were Schloke was Schloke's class, but Cheville was his uki, but he was showing a little X guard, and there was a positioning on the hip where instead of being on the far side hip with your foot, he was actually on the near side hip, which I was like, whoa, that's crazy, because from the near side hip, like there's different stuff there. And you can also use that as you bring your opponent forward. Since it's on the near side hip, you can now use the bottom of your foot towards the torso. So you're literally pushing somebody up with your foot. Whereas if the foot was on the far side hip, you can't angle straight up.
Oh yeah, he was showing that the other week too.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
it's a really cool thing. So anyway, my point in explaining that was I have no problem getting into X guard to get on the far side hip, but getting onto the near side hip, like how does this work? And like last night I figured it out that it's where my hips are underneath my partner, because if I'm too far out, my foot won't angle that way to go up into the stomach. But if my hips are nice and low underneath the person in that X guard, now I have that ability to get but those are the things that now I'm able to like have a conversation in my own head. As a white belt, you can't verbalize any of that shit. So you're like, man, foot, man, leg.
Pretty much, yeah.
See, like the one thing I would say, and like a white belt's not going to understand this, but it's like when I'm watching a coach or a professor that's teaching class, I literally like every time they show, I'll watch a different part of their body so I could see the different angles that they're using to get into the position. But again, even it took me time to realize like what I need to pay attention to in that sense. You know what I mean? It's like I could say that even to you guys. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. I'm sure you understand. Even to a degree, you understand. But like a white belt's just they're like, fuck, I didn't get that like one part. I need to look at that like 3-4 times.
Well, think about how many times you had to get taught something at white belt level before you're like, oh yeah, okay, I got it now.
But even all right, think about this. It's even tough for a white belt. Even like I went through it. When someone's showing you and they're doing it to you, it's like, oh, what the fuck did you do to me?
Yeah.
Now it's like, believe it or not, when I'm like Dookie, I actually feel the move and understand it better as Radji's doing it to me.
That's cool, dude.
Then
really
when
cool.
I like watch it, I mean, I can still when I'm watching, even if like it's on the other side, I can kind of like, I think I know what he's doing. Or most times if I'm like, nah, just get up and fucking go over there and watch, you know what I mean? Because I'm when I really understand it. But like when I'm feeling the move, I can feel where he's pressuring me with hips, squeezing at different positions. And I'm like, and I could see where people are not going to understand that. But like that's the difference as you level up in your belts and stuff like that. You start understanding by feeling where everything is.
That's one of the big reasons why I love what we're doing right now, because as we're having these conversations, like it's not just the language of jiu-jitsu, it's also the language of understanding your partners and your teammates. So like knowing Mike, I can go to Mike and be like, dude, I'm having trouble with this specifically. And since we roll all the time, he knows me, he knows how I roll. Now he could like show me, oh, it's because of XYZ. It's that much easier because we're speaking the same language. As people that are watching us who roll with us and work with us, that's going to grow exponentially too, just because of the fact that we're having these conversations. You know what I'm saying? Like now they're going to understand how to ask very basic questions to help them feel more comfortable about a very jiu-jitsu can be very as much as it teaches you, it can be very like what's the word I'm looking for? Humbling. That's not it's like where you feel in your gut, you're like, you come home and you're like, I couldn't get out of that, couldn't stop that from happening.
Yeah,
so
those moments will eat at you,
bro.
Days.
Eat at you.
Yeah.
I mean,
all sports will do that to you, though.
You know, my ego.
Yeah, but that's what makes you drive, because then you start paying attention to that. Like, as long as you don't let it like consume in a sense where it negatively affects you, in the sense that you need to understand it, take it, understand what's happening to you. That's the only way you're going to overcome it. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I mean, all sports do that too, right? Because we've all had a basketball, a football, a baseball
big
game,
strikeout, a big
loss,
on a basket.
And like that shit keeps you up at night. That night,
a missed
you
catch.
keep thinking about
You
it.
could have a great night at the gym. You could have like 10 rolls, and just to have one roll where you tap to something, or some guy just like demolish it. And it's like those other 9 rolls are like insignificant. It's just that one moment.
That's you know what though, that maybe I don't know, this might be different for you guys, but for me that's become way less and less.
Oh, as you go up through the ranks, totally.
Yeah, because it's like
okay, yeah.
Well, it's more like you know, because you know,
but like
better.
White and blue, that would be like,
because you're you're trying to figure shit out still, and you're like, fuck, I fucking you know, obviously psychologically you get down yourself, but that's a thing.
Sure.
As you you know, progress, it's like the more you know and more mature you are, right?
It's also like you have less to prove. Like, at this point, like I've got less to prove.
Right. And it's
so what? There was a shitty roll. It was a bad night.
It doesn't matter. It's and then because you think you're like, okay, good for them. It was more for them anyway. Because that's where we all get better. Because it's like we're trading off. It's like naturally, if they didn't get better, then you're not going to get better. Right?
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah.
For me, that's the maturity is you're growing into your higher ranks. Is like you're almost like willing to throw the ego out because you're like, you can't get upset when someone gets the better of you. They do. Like for me, I'm like, I know I'm going to get the better of you next time. I figure people out. I don't take like
you're pretty quick at that though. I mean, you're real quick at that.
But I don't take the losses as like a bad thing, like where I'm like negatively beating myself up. I take it. I'm like, yeah, I know because like you just said, that's why I'm able to.
I was gonna say it's probably why you're so quick to turn. Yeah.
I'll turn it around because I'm not focusing on the negative. I'm focusing on like what you did so I can fucking overcome it. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't know. That's why I do adapt quickly to certain, especially roles and stuff like that. People because I don't know. Thank you, man.
Yeah. I think I relate to that too, Ed, because when you guys were saying that before, like, oh, Len, we don't see you for a couple weeks, and you feel like you've still been training.
Do you do anything outside of the gym? Lift, cardio?
Not anymore, right?
I mean, yeah. Listen, it's exactly what I have at home. I have a set of 35-pound dumbbells. I have a set of perfect push-ups, and I have a 25-pound weighted vest.
That's it.
And I have an 8-month-old.
Can you
boy.
imagine him if he's like has been consistent over the last 7.5 years?
Dude, we've said that.
He'd be like,
I know. Well, dude,
but
like in the beginning, like I have to say this, he was my favorite to go with. We matched each other, and for like our first year as white belts, until he got injured, he had to take time off. It was like the two of us pushed each other, man, and we like, it was kind of cool because it was like we were Radji's first. We were growing up in the ranks.
It's still great. All you guys are my favorite to roll with.
Yeah, of course.
When's your brother coming back? Is he coming back?
Is Mike, you watching? When are you coming back, bro? I would love for him to come back. He
got his blue belt, and I got my blue belt. We got our blue belts together.
And the twins, I think too.
Twins,
right? Yeah.
Yep.
All 4 of you guys got it that same night.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was a cool night.
Well, yeah. What got us to this was you were just saying is that's how I feel like I keep up. Is that I think it's just my approach to rolling. Like I analyze. I say, okay, maybe if we're doing a 6-minute round, maybe the first 2-3 minutes, I see how you're fucking me up because I haven't rolled with you in a couple months. And as long as I can at least get back to a neutral position, now I know what I'm a little bit more cautious about because, I mean, one, we've all been training together for years. So I do at least know the foundations of your style.
Yep.
Right. And then I kind of see what you're doing differently and what you're doing new. And then I try. And then I just minimize the ass kicking I'm receiving. And that's it's like I'm doing anything special.
That's what you got to do. That's what you go from there. You go from there. The only way you're going to be able to implement any of your offensive game is to go from there.
That's what we do. Yeah. And when I roll with Mike, every single time, I think I say, I'm like, dude, like you force me to stay tight. Like there's things that we force each other to do because we know what your favorite or what you tend to go with that works really well for you. So like we were talking about your framing from side control earlier, like I fucking know you do that. So I try not to lift my shoulder up on that side. Like that shit's got to stay low. My head's got to stay low. I have to stay looking towards your feet. I don't want to look towards your head. I want to look towards this way. I want to keep that shoulder low and then try to like fight that arm off. Right.
It's funny. Guys will sit there for like 2 minutes. Just not move
because they know like I'm gonna get I'm gonna get forced back up.
Yeah. So do you guys think that evolves?
What?
Because I'm thinking about it in my head and I'm like, I feel like I still play a lot more defense than offense, but I have fun playing defense and that leads to offense. Whereas like I'm not just looking to
of course it does, because I think that like say if I can always hit you in X and I get you 4 out of the last 5 rolls that we go, but then it gets a little bit harder, and then from the 5th roll on, I can no longer really force that on you. Like you might know that I favor that, but you're defensing really well, so like you're gonna force me into new movements, right? So you might not even you might want
That's
to
kind
even
of like the
consider
evolution of our rules.
like Len goes for
No.
this move. He's been having more difficulty getting
Mhm.
to me. But so, okay, so what are my counterattacks from this? Because I know eventually, like if he settles on side control on me, he's gonna go for my forearm and try this.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the kind of things where like when we understand each other as training partners, that actually it's great to train with different partners, but I think training with your favorite partners over and over again, you evolve a little bit faster because you know, I'm picturing, you know, those Pentagon like graphs of strengths, like if you're building a character in Elden Ring, you know, and it's like pointing.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called.
Yeah,
that
whether
kind of graph.
you maybe like you're going towards agility, or maybe you're going towards power, or
right? And it
speed.
just points towards the like wherever
accolades.
you're.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a circle, and it points at what your attributes are.
Right. And if you were 100%, you'd be filling out the pentagram or the whatever the fuck.
whatever it is.
Again, Amanda had a comment before. Mathematicians at it again. There we go.
definitely
I just pulled up.
Jiu-jitsu does not help you with math.
So yeah, so right, so like what we help each other sway towards different parts of that graph, and they change. It completely evolves as we go. So
I pride myself. I pride myself in like not being that dude that comes in there and is like, you know, I need to win. Blah blah. You know, I'm not like that when I go into jiu-jitsu.
I think we have anybody in the gym. Hardly, like
they
really
weed
don't.
out.
Not really.
eventually,
They weed out.
They either weed out or they adapt to our
they-
culture. Yeah, because it's just
But
not.
the point I was trying to get at there is that I don't know if you remember this. It was probably like 6 months ago, maybe. I came to you and I was like, dude, I can't do anything about your neon belly. What do I do? But it was like
Avoid it, motherfucker.
it was like over a year, and
that was
then
Mike's response.
don't roll with me. Just don't roll with me. What did he do that one day? I was like, just don't do that ever again. Oh, it was the
Show
scarf,
up.
this-
Hilarious.
the modified scarf or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. I did a scar. He's like, why go there? There's no point. Like
It was so funny. He was just cutting you off. He's like, no, don't even finish anything that you're saying right now. Just don't do it.
What?
It was
He's
like,
like,
wrong.
"But,"
I was
no,
just like,
just stop.
wrong.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
There was somebody else. Somebody else Mike got with it. Oh yeah, he got somebody because they were showing a certain defense from Mount, and Mike was like, "No, that's stupid."
I said that.
Yeah, you're like, never do that.
Wow.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever
Coach
seen.
Mike.
I'm pretty sure I didn't say
You
that.
100% said. I'll tell you after the
Who
show who
was
you
it?
said it to.
Okay,
I won't say it on the show.
That person's like, yeah, I
But
remember that.
but my point,
That's hilarious.
but my point was is that you
I have
broke
no recollection of this.
you broke a part of my ego because
Yeah.
it took it. I didn't realize it, but it took me a moment to actually be like, what do I do with this neon belly? I actually had months where I was fighting you there,
Mhm.
like trying to figure out like, what if I push here? What if I pull there? And like I wasn't looking it up. I was
Mhm.
just
Just trying to figure.
just
it out.
trying to figure it out. Just with fit. Finally, I was just like,
I looked
clearly
it up,
it's not
and
going
I
to work.
looked it up one time. And I was like, oh fuck.
No,
Let me guess. Yes,
I just,
Radji.
no,
Yes,
I
Radji.
asked you. I
Google
went right
said,
to you.
don't do that.
But I thought that was after us training for so long and you hitting me with that. I think it was like I didn't go to Radji or go to anybody else. I went right to you. And afterwards, I was like, oh shit, I just grew in my jujitsu because I didn't try to figure this out. Like, dude, do you know how many times people in the gym, especially in the old school, would be like, so Mike Trottini does this to me. What do I have to do to stop that? And like Raj would be like, well, all right, I'll show you.
Oh, that's not a lie, dude. Yeah, honestly, Mike, and
Are those the nights I'm not there?
every single time, you're not there, yeah, they're too embarrassed to ask while you're there.
So Mike always does this. He always kicks me in the
No,
balls.
that's true though, bro. People do say that Trottini does this to me, and how do I stop it? I'm not
Of all people, that's probably the name I've heard the most of.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's
so
the
I
number one
wanted
thing, the
In my two,
The gym
how many
terror
months am
right
I?
there.
What's the number one thing? The stiff arm.
Oh yeah, that's stiff arm, 100%.
So I wanted to
Stefan.
ask this question to the live audience about almost 20 minutes ago, but our conversation just kept going, so I didn't get to. So with that, okay, one, if you guys are listening, please comment at what point during your belt, right? What belt and what stripes level did you start feeling a shift in your jiu-jitsu game and confidence? And two, what has Trottini done to you that's the most annoying? And so comment that
Twisted
live.
my dick.
Wow.
It went there too quick, Eli. It just went there way too quick.
So and since we're about halfway through, I just wanted to take a break because during our fucked up intro today, I forgot to mention Radji. So we're gonna do a little read for Radji. I'm gonna play Apple Blossom, a short clip of it that we meant to play off of Mike
There's
Trottini's
only
album
like a
Quarantine.
30% chance it's actually going to be the
No,
song.
it's gonna happen. Check this out. I'm gonna set it up.
Damn,
So remember,
on, bro.
The Adaptive Podcast is brought to you by
Best Buy.
Best Buy. We're gonna get taken off the air for saying that. So the Adaptive Podcast would not be possible without Radji Barret Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Please check out Radji at Radji Barret on Instagram, Radji Barret Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram, and at RadjiBarrettJiu-Jitsu.com. You can check him out at 540 New Brunswick Avenue in Fords. Check out the schedule. There's classes every single day. The Adaptive guys will be there. Radji will be there. Check out his amazing jiu-jitsu.
We're
And
always there.
after this little clip of Mike Trottini's song Apple Blossom off of his album Quarantine, available on Apple Music and Spotify, we'll be right back in a couple seconds here.
Lots of girls walk around in tears, but that's not for you. You've been looking all around for years for someone to tell your troubles to. Come and sit with me and talk a while. Let me see your pretty little smile. Put your troubles in a little pile. I will sort them out for you, alright.
It's fire.
That's a good song.
Album's great, man.
Yeah,
Thanks,
man.
man.
Album's really good. That is probably my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually a White Stripes cover.
Is
It's
it
a Jack White song.
really?
Yeah, man.
I didn't know
So
that.
I had
Mhm.
I had 10 originals planned to go on my record,
Mhm.
and I was watching. Did you ever see the movie The Hateful Eight?
Yep.
yeah.
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 So that song's on there,
Mhm.
and I never heard
Yeah.
it prior, and it profoundly impacted me.
It's
I
got
was
that
like,
nice
That's
raw
really cool.
guitar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I cut one of my songs
Mhm.
to put that on there.
Mhm, mhm.
We
Oh,
were
really?
actually- yeah. I actually
A B-side.
I was going in to record like a week from that moment. I'm like, I got to learn this song. So I learned it. I made my own demo of it. And then that ended up making the record. And I cut a song from
That's
that I
cool.
wrote. Yeah.
You know what that tonality of that guitar reminds me of? And I want to make a request. Can you do Where Is My Mind by the Pixies?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's a good one.
The
I could
Fight
work
Club
on that. Yeah, I
song.
could do
Very
that.
raw,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That
yeah.
Mhm.
I can do that during the week.
That's
Yeah.
like, makes me think of Fight Club.
And who were you
Mhm.
who were you asking for him to do a cover for before? We were talking. I said Ron Isley. I wanted to hear him do the Isley brothers.
Of Them Bones.
Yep. I
Them
mean, you
bones.
kind of left it open.
Oh, yeah,
which is
I did leave it
Oh,
open because
them
I
Alice in
wanted
Chains.
I wanted to see which Ron Isley Mike Trottini would pick because there's a lot. There's a lot of him just wilding on the guitar, bro. He's awesome. Did you see that Versus?
what verses?
You know what Versus is?
Yeah, but I don't know.
It was a Versus with Earth, Wind, and
Oh,
Fire.
you were telling me about this.
Oh, dude, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Isley Brothers, and they were going back. Look, it was like a geriatric ward
Mhm.
versus
Yeah,
another
you were telling
geriatric,
me. Yeah, yeah.
but it was
It was cool.
awesome. They really were killing.
Versus
it.
is cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing. The last one I saw was John Legend and Alicia Keys.
Oh wow,
What the fuck is
That's
this
cool.
shit?
It was really fucking good. It's
Ver-
musicians.
I don't know any of this.
They
shit.
play live. The
I'm about
musicians
to play
play
some
live on
shit.
like a small stage.
they do like a playlist, and they
Live?
go back and forth at each other.
Yeah.
and
It's
Like
cool.
Random people.
There's
not
another
random
one.
people, just artists, real
Like,
artists.
Actual artists go.
Yeah.
They battle.
Who recently went that were hip hop artists?
Am I living under a rock?
Yeah, you are. It was.
You know, I even know what this is.
That's what makes me feel like
You
I'm
guys
living
are
under a rock.
losers. There's another organization doing it called Tiny Desk. Have you heard of them?
Oh
too?
yeah, Tiny Desk.
Tiny Desk is
awesome.
great, right?
dude.
You guys don't fucking know shit. I'm just kidding. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
Shaggy and Sting. Shaggy and Sting is my favorite Tiny Desk. They did a whole tour with each other.
Snow Allegra.
Snow Allegra. What's
Mhm. If you guys don't know who she is, check her out on Apple Music and on Tiny
that?
Desk.
Is
She's
she the
fucking cool.
chick
Yeah.
from Australia?
I don't know where she's from, honestly. I just heard a couple of her albums. I think she just came up in a playlist of mine on Apple Music like a year and a half ago, but she's good.
I was gonna ask why aren't you on Spotify, but you were.
It's fine. It's fine.
No.
No. I work for Pear. It's, yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
Oh shit.
So
There's rules.
So
Cut that.
is there like a delay?
I guess
No delay.
I guess to go with that
Fake
mishap-
news, motherfuckers.
All right.
It's not true.
I guess
So
to go
there's
with
some
that-
good ass fights about to come
Wait,
on.
hold on. I had a good
I
question.
got a good question.
I had to
Go.
go since we had to go down that path. Do you mind talking a little bit about like what jiu-jitsu means to you in your career?
In my career,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say that jiu-jitsu has basically changed the way I live my life.
That's kind of what I'm aiming at.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think I look at everything differently now.
Mhm.
You know, when I started jiu-jitsu, the person I was back then to the person I am now is totally different.
Are you physically different?
What do you mean physically different?
Like we like, dude, you're
I was a total pussy
really.
before I started. I mean, I weighed a lot.
Were you like
worked
McLovin?
out, though. You always had fucking
Yeah, I mean,
biceps
I
and
lifted.
shoulders.
But
I
you
lifted.
so you weren't McLovin walking into jiu-jitsu. Like he wasn't like
always had this frame
No, I was
pretty
bigger.
Yeah.
I weighed a lot more.
Mhm.
I dropped a lot of weight. But like
how much?
I was in the 180s
Mhm,
when I started. I was chunky.
mhm.
much.
But
I feel like you're real. I feel like you tightened up.
What do you-
Oh, yeah.
suppose,
What do you
but
walk
you
around,
had the same
160?
frame.
I'm anywhere between 165 to 170.
Yeah, you feel like you're 200 pounds. that's a compliment.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
guess.
You
I
look
guess.
you look like a complete solid 165, 170.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know,
Eddie feels like he's 200 pounds too.
good knee and belly.
Yeah, well, it's not for him. It's not that he stays on the on belly. It's that all his movement, you feel the pressure on. So like even when he's like traveling around you, you're trying to figure out how to square up again. You feel like you have a 200-pound man, like Sonic the Hedgehogging on you, like just turning. And it's nuts because there are times where I feel like for a bigger guy, I move quick.
You move super quick.
But with him, he'll move on me, and I feel like I'm
just stopping your movement.
I think that's what
I'm doing.
I think it's that I'm going left and you already made 3 rights. So I'm sitting there, I'm like Tasmanian devil. I had some other questions. So you're a freaking brown belt now. And you've been
Freaking
through
brown belt.
7.5 years, right?
Mhm.
So 7.5 years it took you to go from white to brown. Did you have any breaks, by the way?
No,
No breaks.
just a couple injury breaks, but never. I don't think I was ever out more than a week.
Type of injuries.
Oh, man, I'm so jealous.
I mean,
that's awesome.
no major, no like surgeries. Like, you know, the same amount of injuries we all go through.
He's like me.
Like-
stupid,
you know,
comes
like-
back.
Like a heel,
Stupid.
a heel
Yeah.
hook pop,
I always come back too
Yeah,
soon.
like knees, ankles, arms,
Pops?
back. Yeah, I mean, I just popped a rib.
Mhm.
Don't do
Rib
that.
pop.
I mean, I just kind of pointed in Eddie's direction, but
Yeah.
you know, it could have been.
It was
anybody.
his fault.
Translation: I mean, this motherfucker just popped my rib
Yeah.
I did.
again.
And then he showed me how he did it, and he put his knee right in the same spot.
I say the worst.
He
was
told
I
me to
tore
harden
AC
the fuck
joint. That
up.
was the worst one.
The AC joint, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that was-
the
That was my
separation there
problem.
sucks, dude.
My problem.
You actually gave me the KT tape, which saved me for a long time.
Mhm.
Dude, and
Um,
the AC joint is like me. Like it's like this tiny little
Dude,
spot.
You could see it in the mirror, bro. When I stood
Yeah.
after I did
Yeah, dude,
mine,
like
I
the ridge in
compared
your
my
shoulder.
shoulders.
Yeah, yeah.
You could just see the space.
Yeah.
I mean, you
I've
know.
got like I could feel like a big ridge there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sucks.
That was probably the worst one because it took like a year and a half to stop hurting.
And sometimes you get arthritis from it, right?
Dude, we're all getting fucking
When you're
arthritis.
old,
Like
yeah.
we're all getting arthritis.
And you drink
Like
beers.
everywhere.
I have it in my hands already.
I already have it in my fingers. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's from guitar too. Your
You
left
could
hand.
just see it. I just feel it.
No,
Dude,
you see it. You see it
Like,
when
look
you
at-
see the
you know.
joints start to spread.
Oh.
That's the calcification, right? Is that how it's?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's the calcification.
Makes
You don't
sense.
play Spider that much though. It's more like for I think it's like the gripping from like
And
Spider Guard that
twisting the
really.
So-
Dude, I like carpal
Yeah.
tunnel. Dude,
So I want to.
it's weird in jujitsu. I don't feel it at all. I'll be at work. I'll like write something like, my hand. Like, what the fuck
Isn't that crazy though? You wake up and it's like I can't get out of bed, and then we get on the mats and it's like fucking. It's like that scene in Star Wars when Yoda was like kind of like limping in.
Yeah, and also
And
he's
then
fucking
he's just
Tasmanian
like-
devil. It's like how the fuck
Count Dooku.
It's so fucking fucking
So stupid.
so dumb. Anyway, nah, I'm not
Well,
gonna
do
get
you guys want to talk about the fights? Because we're already an hour in.
Sure.
We can. I mean,
We don't have to.
I mean, I only had a couple more questions, and then we could.
No, I'm not trying to cut that off. I'm just
I
saying.
still have my
Even like
interview
we
to go.
can, but
I have my interview still. Fucking Eli interview.
Well, what I was getting at,
We should have.
but I was
sat
interested
you
in
across from Mike.
your injuries. Your injuries is what I want to know. You answered that already. Now goals.
what are they laughing at?
They're always laughing at me, Mike. Can you just come on all the time? I need somebody to fight with me. I need somebody to make this even.
I feel like they got their side conversation going on.
Of course.
No, we didn't even say anything. You can hear us on the mic.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, why did you just give me the Funk Master Flex trumpet?
Oh fuck! I need an air horn. Too.
No,
What-
fucking
what-
crying.
Goals?
Yeah, tell me about goals. Like,
Honestly, man, I don't even.
you never
know.
set goals?
I haven't really thought about it. I just got my brown belt like 3 days ago. Like I haven't even really thought about it.
I mean, I in jujitsu, you haven't set goals, and like they haven't changed for you. Like,
I don't really think about
or were
it.
you just like, I just don't want to suck?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, I don't
That's a
I don't
goal.
really I don't think I've ever set goals like I have to be a purple
That's
belt
sick.
by like year 5. Like I've never really set any expectation on myself like that. I mean, I don't think I've ever really set like an expectation. I obviously want to get better. I'd like to start teaching. I would like to start teaching.
You're a good teacher,
Oh,
dude.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I really don't.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
I don't even think you've done a class.
So we used to do the morning
me.
classes.
Yeah,
I did that for like
and
a year or two.
Yep, and I remember I was going to get involved, and then the pandemic hit.
Yep.
And then after the pandemic,
I just haven't had time to
after the
do it.
pandemic, I did the six. I made it 6:30. I did it for like a month and a half, but you know, life gets to you. I couldn't
that's
do it
pretty
too
much when I stopped
But yeah, like if
doing
there's
it.
if
was
there's a
when
goal,
the pandemic started, I stopped doing.
I would say
6 a.m.s.
teaching. That would probably be like my next thing to start teaching. If
Yeah.
if Radji's cool with that to like whatever degree,
Mhm.
you know, I'd like to start teaching. I think that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, that's dope. So
It is fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to
enjoy
get
doing
back
the morning
into it.
class.
Yeah,
so
you tough man.
you answered one question on an interview in the school, and it was, what would you tell your white belt self? And you stated, just keep coming, which I think you stated earlier during the podcast. But now that I realize you just got your brown belt, but what would you tell your purple belt self?
I don't fucking know.
Don't suck.
Yeah, you're gonna get your brown belt soon. I don't know.
You're gonna get, if you wait like this amount of time, you're gonna get your brown belt. What would you focus on?
I didn't
Just
worry
got
as
your
much.
purple
I mean,
belt.
like as a white belt, obviously, like I wanted to quit a ton of times. You know, I didn't see like myself getting better as a white belt.
Mhm.
At purple, I felt all that. You know, like I felt, you know, I'm already like committed to the sport at this point. Like it's gonna be, jiu-jitsu is basically ingrained in my life at this point. So,
Mhm.
I didn't worry about that stuff nearly as much as purple. You know, I'm just kind of at this point, I'm just enjoying the ride.
Mhm.
You know, so I don't know. I don't
Word.
feel, I mean, I've just been a brown belt for like a week, so I don't feel like I'm really that mature as a brown belt. So maybe ask me that in like a year or two.
Yeah.
You
Somebody told me recently
Yeah.
that they shout out to Neil. He told me, he was like, when
Where
my
is
belt
hot Neil?
when my belt comes off, he was like, I just leave it off
Mhm.
because he's like, I don't even like looking at it. Because he, in his head, I guess he, you know, looking at the belt, he's like, oh, I gotta measure
live
up to that. Yeah, live
Yeah,
up to
yeah.
that. So he's like, whatever, I just leave it on the side.
Yeah.
My last question. What would you tell me in my
Teach me
Asper-
something.
Don't let me get side control.
okay, I got it.
You are doomed.
What would you tell me to
Doomed.
if as not as Eli but as a blue belt? What would you want? Again, looking at it from a coaching perspective too. Now that you want to do that, what would you tell a blue belt to focus on the most?
I mean, at blue, start looking at your transitions. I mean, I was like, for the longest time, I was like, I've just got to do this one thing and I've got to make this one thing work. And even when it wasn't working, like start looking at transitions. There's submissions from everywhere in jiu-jitsu. That's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. The one thing that I evolved my game from is just really focusing on once you have good position to stay in good positioning. Submissions will come. I mean, I don't really hunt for the submission. They kind of just find themselves at this point. So sort of just finding the transitions, versus kind of staying fixated on, I've got to get this move on this person right now at this point in time.
Yeah, like you did actually give me that advice a couple weeks back, and it's something that I've been trying a lot. Like for example, like now that I am getting the neon belly, and I can do it even to higher belts. I'm focusing on transitioning. I'm not worrying about, well, I could hunt for that arm now, that far side arm, and start to try to attack that. I'm actually just working on, getting to the other side and just focusing on going back and forth. And like, I'll spend the whole night not looking for a submission, but focusing on just transitioning.
Yeah.
Because now I understand the body space and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I honestly, just so for the audience, and I don't know, I think I've kind of said it to you before, but one of the reasons that I ask all these questions and I try to interview in that sense is because I think it's a real challenge as you grow in jiu-jitsu when you don't have the companionship, because some people don't have that. Some people aren't there yet, maybe with their partners. Maybe they're brand new to the school. Maybe they haven't. Maybe they're not confident or that type of person to gain that type of friendship where they can have a conversation to help them understand. But I feel like as we ask these questions, it really helps people reflect and say, oh, I know what he's talking about. I'm not alone. And that type of feeling, can bring you back from the edge. There's probably plenty of people that are doing this sport that are feeling like they're dealing with something on their own because they just don't know how to verbalize it. And I think that's also part of the ego. Like I said before, like I didn't even realize that I needed to actually just ask you, what do I do here? So I think that's another part of the ego where as you're needing to understand how to have conversation with other people, that it's okay to not know. Like just say you don't know. That's it. That's all you got to do. Ask questions. So, that was cool.
You also got to be good at paying attention to ask those questions, because sometimes you're like, oh, fuck, what did he do to me? So if you let go of the ego, it's easier to ask those questions because you're paying attention.
Good point.
Right.
That's a good point.
To what happened to you.
Awesome. So
so tonight
I'm done with the interview. All right. I just wanted to know some things.
Yeah, we weren't trying to rush you through the interview. I was just
God damn it.
marking the time. I mean, we usually do about an hour and a half anyway. We're at an hour 10, and the time doesn't really matter because we're flowing. We're chilling. Tonight is UFC 274, right?
Yeah.
Oliveira Gaethje. The prelims should be starting in just about 15 minutes. We figure we go over the top three in the main card.
Started. They're about
no, I'm sorry. The main will start at 10. The prelims are already on.
So
I've got a screen already queued up, Eli. So you don't
Are
have to
you
worry.
going to bring it up here?
I
Yeah.
could.
You should.
I could, my man.
You should.
But that doesn't really help our viewers see it, though.
What?
Actually, I think I can still share it. So we'll bring it up there.
I think the first most important thing we need to talk about is what the hell is going on with Cowboy Out?
He got food poisoning,
He's
bro.
got some like non-COVID. Oh, is that what it is?
It was
Food
food
poisoning?
poisoning.
Yes.
He ate some shit.
So
And he's pooping and throwing up.
But that's gotta suck right after a weight
Damn
cut.
it, man.
Who was
like,
he-
what the fuck?
he was
Like,
gonna
it's the first
fight
thing you
who?
eat and you're like,
Do you remember who was going to fight Ed?
Yeah, Joe Lozon, who's another guy who hasn't fought for fucking ever. He's like an old, and it's funny, they had like 34 bonuses, fight night bonuses, combined.
Between the
So,
two of them.
Yeah.
I'm taking a look
They're
right
old,
now.
They're old guys, but it could have been
Strongman,
like
man, he's just the guy that just always like
he's old now, man.
couldn't get that,
39
like-
or 40.
So I'm taking
Yeah,
a look right
he
now. He's
came
not there.
always
Ed.
choked like when it came down to like that fight.
No, I
you
think
know?
this card on this is the UFC website, so this is up to date.
Yeah, my point is I think they took both of them out, and I think they filled that fight with two other people.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What was the guy's name? It was Joe who?
Lozon.
Yeah, I think they took him out of the fight and they replaced with what is that? Mauricio.
No, that fight was
Oops.
always on.
I don't know.
That's Shogun. Dude, it breaks my heart. No one knows who Shogun is. Shogun was one of the best
Mauricio.
like
15
years ago, 15 years ago.
Wait, why are
he
you
was-
bringing up a Shogun?
Because he's on the card.
Oh, he's on the
like,
card.
He like
Yeah.
retired. I thought he retired like 2-3 years ago. He's
Well, you guys
fighting
want
Yeah.
to talk about that? I don't see
No,
him here.
so
I
it's
thought-
Randy.
there.
It's Randy.
Mauricio Rua.
Randy Brown.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, no. Let's start at Shogun and St. Preux. So we don't have time to talk about
That's
all
fine.
So
They
St. Preux
fought once.
favored -240 to Shogun plus 195.
They fought once already.
They fought once,
And he beat him in under a minute. TKO'd him. He like rushed in. Shogun like tried blitzing, and he was like counter left, hit him. He fell into the cage. He was like, "Bruh," and he just kept hitting him repeatedly. And it was like, oh, it's over. It's gonna happen again. Shogun. This was like
It's 40.
8 years ago when that happened.
He's 40. Yeah, he was born in 1981.
Damn. It's gonna get knocked out again. He was like in his pride days. He was
Mhm.
like, oh man, he was so young, and he was like the first, like the youngest. That's the guy that John Jones beat to become the light heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Get the belt.
Yeah.
Who did Ferguson lose to last? Was it Gaethje?
No.
It was, like, painful to
Gaethje-
watch.
Gaethje was the start of it.
That
And
was,
then it was Oliveira, and then it was Benyel
yeah.
Dariush.
the Oliveira fight.
Yo,
Was
every
tough to
one
watch.
of them fucked
just
him
like
up.
demolished. him.
Demolished him. Well, dude, Ferguson. Gaethje just like he beat him silly. He was
For,
like
5
out on
rounds,
his
right?
feet.
Wasn't
He was
it-
just like,
It was he went to a decision, right? Wasn't it for like a full?
no, TKO.
It was Or
Gaethje
was it-
fight?
Yeah,
It was TKO.
that was TKO.
At some point, he was like all fucked up, and the ref was like, "You're
You're
done."
done.
He was like shaking his head all weird, like he was dying. Blood was splurting everywhere.
So you
it was
think
weird?
OSP is taking Shogun out?
Oh, done deal.
Why are you so gung ho on
Because-
OSP?
Because he's beaten him already. He's younger. Shogun has been so many wars. He's 40 now, right? We just said he's 40.
Yeah.
He's gonna look
Well,
like
OSP's 39.
watch tonight. Anybody's watching, if they're hearing what I'm saying, he's gonna look like he's 55 and older, and you're like, oh my god, this guy shouldn't be in the ring. He's gonna die.
He should be playing canasta.
Not a ring. I'm sorry. He's in the octagon. Oh my god, why is he not a senior citizen fucking right now? You're gonna feel bad for him. And he, at one point, he was the greatest and most ferocious bad motherfucker. He would just demolish people, and he was like an awesome kickboxer. He had good jujitsu too,
Hmm.
decent enough jujitsu. He had some submission wins, like ankle locks and knee bars and shit. But a lot of fucking knockout wins that were like just vicious.
You guys want to see the first fight?
Yeah, let's
Do it. Yeah.
Here it is.
Technology.
Oh, it was so sad. Oh, it was so quick. It was just so quick. Oh.
And that's about it.
And he's just getting punched repeatedly.
Maybe about 10, 12 punches after that.
18 later.
How do you think
how do you
he
feel?
keeps these guys
It
coming
was
back?
pretty quick. I mean,
What do
this
you
whole
think keeps these
clip.
guys coming back? Like they're like way beyond their prime. You think it's like the money? You think in their
and the
mind
fight,
they're like
fighting them.
I'm gonna
Ah,
make it.
Like, I don't care.
dude, yeah, that
It's
was
like
that was pretty
yeah,
bad.
I don't know. Prove themselves. He's an absolute
Like
warrior.
Liddell, when Liddell went back, I mean that guy he looked like
Oh, dude.
terrible. It was like,
Why did he
dude,
come
why
back?
did you come back?
Oh my god.
Because like that's all I remember now.
Oh, my
Like I
God.
can't like
Emotional
It was like, oh my
I
damage.
God,
can't think past that.
Grandpa Liddell just fought fucking
It was
Tito Ortiz.
emotional damage.
Yeah.
Like this, you know, like was he really starving for a paycheck, or did he think like, geez, man, yeah, maybe I'm gonna come back?
It was emotional.
Emotional damage.
You had 2 fucking victories on Tito Ortiz, and you came back and now
And now that's all I remember.
his grandpa,
That's
fucking
crazy.
Liddell. He looked so. I was like, oh my god,
Dude, it was
what's
bad.
happening?
It was bad.
terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah, you're right. At like one point, just stop.
I feel like Ferguson's getting in that kind of like realm though now.
Well,
You know, like,
and he and that's what
Oh,
was
he's
so
gonna-
bizarre about
He's gonna
the.
get fucked up.
and it just happened to him like that. You know, like he was doing pretty good, and then it was just like,
Well, he
Yeah.
talked.
He
He
was on
talked
an
all,
11 fight or 12
yeah,
fight win
something
streak.
like crazy,
I
right?
think it was 11 actually.
and he was like a Swiss Army knife, like doing everything. Tony Ferguson
Yeah, but he looked weird. He looked everything. He
always
did.
is weird, unorthodox.
So unorthodox.
So it was like
no rhythm.
Yeah.
but he was
It's like
brutal.
his rhythm is in his head, and nobody
know
else
what's
could
funny?
see it.
Yep.
He was kind of like a Korean. He was like Korean zombie, bro.
Mhm.
It was like people would beat the fuck out of him in the first round. And you're like, Jesus Christ! And then he'd come back like doing crazy spinning elbows, and guys like, oh my god, what is happening to me? I was just fucking him up.
Tony Ferguson is like, if you have a video game and you're hitting every button, like that's
It's
what.
actually pretty.
He's so cringe, bro. I just
Well, when he
is
talks,
I hate
when he
him. I hate
talks,
him. He's
it's
cringe.
Well, it was it. So
Dude.
he just recently had a like a press conference a couple days ago where he was throwing shade at Dana White for UFC fighters not being paid enough. He was talking trash about
That's a hot take.
how he feels Michael Chandler gets Dana. Well, he
Privilege.
didn't say this.
Dana privilege.
He was arguing with a reporter because the reporter was like, "How do you feel about Michael Chandler getting Dana White privilege?" And he was like,
What
"That's not
question
funny."
is that?
Dana White, what a loser.
He was like,
What a
"Well,"
fucking loser.
he was like,
what
"That
kind of question is that? Though?
it's stupid." And to
He's trying to
give
be
Chandler
clever.
or to give Ferguson
So
credit,
provocative.
he said to the reporter that was stupid. He was like, "That's stupid."
Good
He was
for
like, "So
him.
what? I have Brown privilege, Dana Brown privilege." Like he came back at him, but
Oh,
You-
good for him.
because he was like, nah, it's everybody.
but he also saw.
Everybody gets
I
fucking
didn't-
shitty
Anybody
pay.
who is an exciting fighter gets
I
Dana
didn't
White
s-
privilege.
I didn't see what he
That's
said, but he brought something
Not
up
'cause you're
about
white.
Khabib. And Khabib responded on Twitter and he was like, "You haven't won a round in the last 3 years. Get my name out of your mouth."
He's like scoreboard, bro.
He
Scoreboard.
It's funny how
Dude,
much
he was-
Khabib talks now.
he was also
You think there's
talking
any-
about
You think he's gonna come back for what? For another fight?
nah,
no way.
He doesn't have to.
nah. He's on a different kind of.
No. He's smoking
guess.
cigarettes with bears.
Right. All right. So next up, we were already talking about Ferguson Chandler. Chandler's actually
Yo,
favored.
we didn't say we
We
didn't
didn't
say
really
who
talk
he
about
had
the fight,
here.
right? So
Yeah.
so Michael Chandler
I
Ferguson.
think Chandler's gonna win.
because he's blessed.
But
He's
in UFC
favored minus 365. Ferguson plus 280. Those are the odds.
Listen, Tony's lost 3.
Chandler's number
he's
5.
still
Ferguson's number
dangerous.
7.
You can never count him out because he's still a dangerous fighter. But Michael Chandler looks like the guy that should win.
Bro, I thought Dana was gonna cut Tony. I thought he was done with him.
Yeah, I figured last fight he was gonna get cut. He'll get cut after
You
this.
know, he
Nah,
does-
it's because
Donna,
he
look at his
provides
stupid-ass
every
face.
fight. He provides excitement. It doesn't matter if he gets his ass kicked or not.
Yeah, I don't like
He
him. He got
provides
stupid
excitement.
face.
And you notice those guys hang around just a little bit longer because of that.
Yep.
Like he
He's
gets
like, get
violent.
the fuck out of here already.
Every fight is fucking violent.
Well, did you? He also said in that little press conference, he was like, "Dana doesn't let me play other sports." I said, "Dana, let me box." And he was like, "No." He's like, "Why not? I want to box." He was like, and then he goes, "You know what this is?" And he shows a ring. He's like, "This is my ring from high school. We won 29-1 state championship football. I could play football." He's like, "You know what? Maybe I want to try go playing baseball. What am I working for? A drug lord?" He kind of went at it.
He's cringe.
And I'm watching him and he's wearing his sunglasses.
This is my ring from high school.
And I can't get it out of my head. In my head, I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, if I feel like I'm looking at somebody that's wearing their sunglasses like upside down.
Who is it that posts the fucking little animated video of him all the time? Is it his camp that does
I don't
that?
know.
Or you know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't know if I know.
You know what I'm talking. You never seen on Instagram? There's like a little. It's like a little 3D animation of Tony Ferguson with the sunglasses on, and I'm gonna try to find it.
Okay.
You guys keep talking. I'm gonna try to find it.
yeah, I have no idea.
So you guys think Chandler's got it unless there's something sneaky.
I think Chandler's got it.
You guys consider Tony dirty?
No. What do you mean
Just-
dirty?
He's more
Dirty.
unorthodox.
Why
than
do you
dirty.
think he's dirty?
Just asking that question.
I think he's mentally dirty.
I just
There's
thought of-
something
I
fucked
thought of-
up there.
I
but
thought of in my head of the video of him on the scale, and he's like like that, and then
Oh,
it ended up
fucking
being
it up.
it ended up
Come
being
on.
Charles Oliveira's off weight. Like he was fucking up the scale.
It's funny, but it's not what fucking happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think and so co-main event, championship fight for straw weight, 115-pound ladies, Rose Namajunas champ versus Carla Esparza. Which is cool about it is they kicked off. They did a tournament.
Oh wait, hold on. We got
Ultimate Fighter.
the Chandler.
You don't have to cut him off. Let him finish.
All right, go ahead.
They were the Ultimate Fighter
Nintendo.
champion, the two that went at it for the first belt ever. And Namajunas was the favorite. She was this top prospect, which, dude, obviously now she's a 2-time champ. She's fucking legit.
Yeah.
Carla Esparza beat her with her wrestling. She was the first ever. And then Joanna Jędrzejczyk, she fucking beat her ass in the next fight. And then I think she won like 6 in a row and then lost to Namajunas. And then lost to her again. And then I don't remember what happened after that, but she's champ again. And this is gonna be interesting because she got taken down against Zhang Weili last fight a couple times, and Carla's a good wrestler. So it could be one of those. It's like, this is a boring ass fight, and she wins because of control or some shit.
If
Unless
she does,
she just tags her up like fucking Mortal Kombat or some shit, which I'm hoping.
if she does take Rose to the ground, do you think she wins the fight? Or do you think
Depends if she
Rose
controls
got
her.
enough? Rose got enough to get out of that.
I think we'll see. I think we'll see. It depends. I don't know, man. Rose is a fucking beast.
If she wins
She
this
is a
fight,
beast. You haven't really seen too many of her fights.
Dude,
on the
rooting-
ground.
I've watched
out of all
a
these
decent
No,
amount
I
of
mean,
them.
I was
care
going to say I haven't
wins.
seen
I'm
too many
rooting for
fights end up
Doug
on the
Rose, though.
ground. Is what I was saying.
Yeah. I haven't seen her on the ground. lately.
She's, a lot of her.
She's got some submission wins.
I
She's
haven't seen
good,
her on the ground.
but like she's
great.
tough
Amanda
fighter.
loves Rose, man. That's like her favorite fighter. I don't know if she.
Doug
Yeah,
Rose.
she actually just
Well-
commented. I knew she would.
What is
There you
she? What she's
Doug Rose.
Yeah, she loves Rose.
What weight is she?
We do too.
115
My house supports
strawweight.
Rose.
Yeah. So champ, and now to some
Valentina's what?
125
Hmm.
bantam.
You think they would ever?
No, they train together and shit. I think they're friends and stuff.
That doesn't mean anything. Friends fight each other for cool shit.
Nah, I think Shevchenko would fuck her up. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Bigger. She fights. Dude, I think she won against.
she's
She
one
won
of the
her
most
last-
polished
I think
fighters I've ever
Shevchenko-
seen, man or
Shevchenko
male or
is
female.
amazing, bro. And I think she legitimately won against oh my god, the lioness. What's her name?
I can't think of her name.
Why not? Why can't both of us think of her name right now? The fucking she just lost. Nunez. Amanda Nunez.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you. Jesus, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with us? The goat.
Wah, wah,
Yeah.
wah.
Is she
No,
going to
no,
rematch?
don't.
What's going on with her?
Don't
Is she going
do
to
it.
rematch?
Don't do it.
Lenny
Yeah,
was
they're
like, "Yes, I
rematching.
wanna
They're
do
I
doing
it."
actually
Ultimate
did it. It
Fighter.
was the volume was all the way down, so you didn't hear it.
Oh, they
Shut
are
the
doing the Ultimate
Yeah,
Fighter.
Ultimate Fighter right now. They're filming both Amanda Nunez and what the fuck is her name? What are we even
What
doing?
do you forget now? Now you remembered Amanda and you don't remember the other chick?
Why can't you guys know any of this shit? What the fuck?
Valentina.
Yes. No, not Valentina.
No, no,
no.
Shevchenko.
Wrong. The one she just lost to, the Venezuelan,
I just watched it the other night too.
the
Dude,
Vixen, as they call her, the Venezuelan Vixen. That's all
How
you
do
need
know
to
all
know.
You know all the nicknames.
I knew the nickname.
that's great.
Oh my god, why can't I think of her fucking name though?
So then who's your pound
Pena?
for pound then? If she wins this fight, who's
Juliana?
who's the pound for pound?
Shevchenko.
Shevchenko. Yeah, I said that, and you said no.
I didn't say no.
That's what we were talking about before. And you're like, I forgot about her, and I said Shevchenko. You're like, no, it's not her.
What? What are you talking about? I mean,
Oh, what just happened?
I wasn't I mean, I wasn't talking to you if you thought I was disagreeing, but I was talking about Shevchenko at 1.2.
I'm confused.
Roasting the fucking shit out of her. I think Shevchenko is awesome.
Yeah, no, I got lost. I thought, I totally fucking injected into a different sentence there. I thought,
what the fuck?
sorry.
Don't project on my shit.
Don't
project on me.
When I clearly was talking about the same fucking person being as the I don't know, man. And Nunez lost some crazy shit.
So
It keeps like.
So
Anyway,
so
Charles
why don't-
Oliveira.
I was just about. Why don't we talk about all the crazy shit that happened?
Dude, the
Break
fight's
it down.
about to start, bro.
Break it down, Ed.
Charles Oliveira, bro. He's the champ. He missed weight by a half pound, so they stripped him the belt.
So bullshit.
It's bullshit because think about it. He's still champ. They're like, all right, we're taking the belt from you, and we're giving 20% of your purse to fucking Justin Gaethje. And yeah, so if Justin Gaethje wins, he becomes champ, obviously, right? But Charles Oliveira, he's not champ if he wins, but he fights for the belt to the next contender. So what's the difference if he won the belt, if it was still on the line for the belt, as opposed not on the belt, fighting for the next contender, which he would have done anyway if he won the belt? And you know what I mean? No difference.
So
To me, it's like a weird, like, it's not a punishment. The only punishment was really just giving money to his opponent.
So what is going
You
on
lose
with the
money.
weigh-ins?
Yeah.
I like get so confused. So I see a weigh-in where they are in front of a crowd. Dana White's there. They're being separated by both of them. They both take the picture sitting in front of them. But when they weigh in there, right? They say the weight, and like Oliveira ran up there. He's wearing his like swoosh pants. He's wearing sneakers,
Oh, that's
and he's
just
got
the
a
for-
chain on.
That's just the first show.
But like,
weigh-in.
why
No,
even
that's
weigh in
a
there?
That's a
That's just a-
ceremonial.
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. Yeah, you're right. You know what? I do agree with
It's a
that.
ceremony.
No,
Didn't
I
they-
agree.
The master of ceremonies.
No, I agree with that.
It
I
is
agree with
stupid,
that.
but
It is-
it's
It's
just a
stupid
press
because
The
they-
thing.
fucking chain he was
Press.
wearing was 2
no,
pounds.
no, because the thing is, they used to do it like that, but all of a sudden they did it where they had to do it in the morning. But
They
at the same
tear
time,
it.
Yeah, I was gonna say they used to do the official
They-
weigh-in like at that
at
moment,
that
right?
moment, and it wasn't until like
They're like, add all your swag to the scale and we'll tear it. And then you get on
Then
the
you get back
scale
on
and we
later.
weigh you.
Yeah,
for
you
it.
can wear like a full bodyguard, everything you want. Samurai,
If you-
Bushido.
So
And
then-
they'll have you press on this towel
So then,
right
okay.
here and you get lighter.
So then real weigh-in, right? Real weigh-in. I saw that they weighed him and they're like 155 and a half. He had no idea. And then they explained it to him and he's like, oh shit. They put the UFC like barrier
Mhm.
around the weight thing. He takes off his freaking Fruit of the Loom. Like it's like underwear. How much is it fucking gonna wear? And they weigh him again and it's the same exact weight. I don't know. I think the whole thing was a setup. Like I think the whole thing was done on purpose. Like
for what?
I mean, that's a heavy
we're
conspiracy
all
theory.
talking about it. It just caused even more conversation. You know what? Because it's open, that gives Dana more power on what he wants to do after this fight.
So we need to stop talking about it.
That's
Right
not-
now,
that's not
that's-
happen.
yeah, exactly.
That's not gonna
Fuck,
happen.
it's past
We're gonna
point of no
enjoy it.
turn.
Yeah.
Cut that.
Shit.
Cut that. Cut that.
Yo, but seriously though, if it let's just say not conspiracy, let's say he
Stealing that
really
from
was
the
dealing
Always
with
Sunny
that.
podcast.
Like in my head, it would be really easy with how much money Dana throws after fights and who knows what he's doing. But here's $10,000
He gives
worth of
bonuses,
crypto
man.
and like all this
Of
stuff.
course.
What if he told Oliveira, all right, I want this, I want all this publicity to go off. I'm gonna give you X amount of money
He looked
on
hyped.
paper.
Did you see the weigh-ins?
Yeah, he was ready to go.
He was like, "Let's go." I'm like, "Oh, he's got a lot of energy for some guy that was struggling with weight cut, and shit."
Exactly. That even adds to what I was saying because
But
if
that- That
you
could
would be
just
upset.
a warrior in
I
him,
know,
though,
I
man.
feel like
Not for
that's-
nothing. That guy's been
Bro,
through
they
a journey.
stripped him of his belt.
Yeah, but that's what I'm fucking saying. He's still, if he wins, he knows if he wins, he goes like that's what he's saying. I'm
It's
still
still gotta be
champ.
on his
He
mind,
goes,
though,
"Oh, I'm
right?
still fucking champ."
It's still
That's
going
what
to be
he's
on
saying.
his head. It's still going to be in his mind, though.
Yeah,
right?
all he loses
But it
is
could be-
money. Like
but
that
it
is
could be, depending
Yeah,
on the
but
warrior.
It could go
but
either
hold
way,
on,
right?
but hold
Depending
on.
on the warrior,
I don't know, man,
he is.
A weight class is
Hang on.
155 and under. He's over 155. He ain't the champ for 155 and
I
under.
get that. Yeah, that
know?
makes sense. But as long as he could come back down the weight, it doesn't change anything because if he wins, he's the number one contender.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same difference.
And then so what?
Wait,
So he
then
doesn't
fights
automatically
fucking
get it.
Conor
He's
McGregor?
got to win
He's
his
gotta
next
fight
fight
again.
to win it.
It's stupid. They're probably
Doesn't-
going to fight again.
It's just,
But it doesn't
it's
matter.
They're
It's
going to
two
get more,
people that
more
don't have the
money.
belt, but he's still like the champ. That's what he said. He's like, doesn't matter. I'm the champ. So it's
Connor,
like in his
Connor ain't
head,
coming to fight back at this weight. There's no
probably
way.
not, but it's an option. It doesn't mean it's not an option.
He's not coming down to that.
It could be the money fight. Depends.
Listen, you know nothing.
I don't know. Connor
You
looks
know
like,
nothing.
what's Connor walking around at now? He looks
190.
At least.
I mean,
He
he's got to
looks
be
heavy.
bulking up for a reason.
He's the Irish gorilla.
because they'll cut down to
He's gonna
170.
smack
Yeah, but
old
that
men in
division's
bars.
full of killer. I mean, that division's way worse than
He's got a chance against Masvidal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
but
know what's
who
funny?
else?
Masvidal's violent and he's smart. He's got good IQ.
he
but
could
like
be Colby.
the precision, who?
Connor?
No way.
Beat Kobe?
No
I
fucking
think
way.
he'd be Colby.
Kobe will wrestle him the whole
Nah.
fight.
He'll
There's
fucking,
no way.
He'll literally insert his right in there. Nothing Connor's gonna
Mm.
do.
Kobe's
Um,
tough, man.
Yeah, no, I don't want to take
Kobe's
it. Yeah, but
champ. If it
he's
wasn't
not.
for Usman,
He's not fighting. He's not fighting anymore. He has brain damage.
Who?
Yeah,
Colby.
Kobe. He's doing. There's some crazy shit going on with that whole fucking thing. Yo, Masvidal
Did you hear
might
about
see
this?
some
No.
like.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yo, Masvidal, like potentially, I heard maximum like 15 years.
For that whole
He wouldn't get it, but like
If the brain damage thing can be proved in court,
it's
he may
not
get it.
because he can't provide it. That's what I read up. That's
Wait,
just
who's
what I
got
read
brain
up.
damage?
on the
Masvidal or
internets.
Covington?
Colby
No,
Covington.
Covington.
He's trying to. He's trying to claim that. I agree. He's using that as like momentum.
I thought Masvidal was
You're
the
a
one
fighter,
that
and this
trouble.
gave you brain
But
damage.
here's the thing, right? They were talking about
I agree.
Chimaev fighting Kobe after he beat Burns, and now there's no talk of that. Now they're talking about Nate Diaz. They're trying to push that,
Yeah,
which is funny because it's like, oh shit, whatever's going on with Kobe, something's going
Wait,
on.
who wants to fight Nate?
Kazmat.
Yeah.
He'll demolish Nate.
Oh, he's destroying.
I mean,
Yeah.
it wouldn't even be like.
Well, that's what's weird. I want to see Kazmat.
I want
and
to see
Colby.
fucking Dustin Poirier and fucking Nate Diaz. Style wise, makes the most sense for a fucking good, entertaining fight. If you put Chimaev with Nate, yeah, on paper, like it sounds cool because it's like everyone loves Nate, but we know what's gonna
Yeah,
fucking
it's gonna
happen.
demolish him.
He's gonna demolish him, and we're just gonna be like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Say it.
Nate looked terrible in his last fight against.
No, Edwards.
I didn't look.
I mean, he
good,
didn't
man.
look
looked
good,
old.
but like
he looked.
he looked old,
aged.
but he's still so tough that he made it exciting in the end.
yeah,
the problem
with the
is
last
he didn't-
like 20
He
seconds.
didn't pounce. It was like the last like minute plus, but like he just couldn't pounce on him because his leg.
His
dude,
legs were.
Yo, Leon
trashed.
Edwards Leon Edwards is the truth. He's good. I think he could
He's
beat
legit.
Usman because Usman's not gonna be wrestle. He's got good striking. It's gonna
Yo,
be different than in the
Somebody,
first fight.
we need to
That
see
was a close
Usman.
fight.
We
I think
also
that was
need. We also need to see Usman now that we know of all the injuries and where he's at right now, and that he's already made this. Like since he made the statement that his knees are both going to be completely surgically replaced once his career is over.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't
not
gone to the
wrestling.
ground.
Dude, his last like 4 or 5 fights, he has not wrestled
Mm.
since he beat Tyron Woodley to become champ. It was the last time he
But
wrestled.
he still looks spry and quick.
No, of course, because he's that's why he's a
He doesn't look like
that's
somebody
why
that
he's a
doesn't
true
have
cha-
knees.
he's a true champion. That's a true athlete because he's adapted his style,
Yeah.
and he's not even the greatest striker, but he's winning on true fucking will and grit.
Kobe
and
was like
IQ.
that. Kobe was like that. His knees. Kobe, like,
Who?
Kobe Bryant.
Oh, Kobe
He was
Bryant.
knee on knee.
Mm.
Like he
Yeah.
had nothing there, and he,
He also didn't
continued
have
in
a
his career.
fucking Achilles tendon either.
That's
at the end of
crazy.
his career.
Yeah. So who do you have in that main event?
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, no, let's start from the
Oliveira.
third. Yeah,
I'm
let's
rooting-
start from the bottom here at Chandler fight, and let's go up to the top.
did.
We'll make our predictions.
We didn't.
No, we didn't actually say who we
didn't
wanted
really
to
know.
fight, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
and we'll call it a night.
Michael Chandler, Rose, because I want Rose, so I'm just gonna say Rose. And then last fight. No, you give your picks. Let me think about it.
I'm
No,
boring.
you got to give your third pick.
I'm boring. I think it's Chandler, Rose, and Charles.
You got all the favorites.
Yeah, I
I'm
have all
actually
the
gonna go with
favorites.
Ferguson,
I'm Gaethje.
Rose,
You're going
and
Ferguson?
Gaethje. Yeah.
I'm going Chandler, Rose, and Gaethje.
All right. So one more time. Let's go around the circle. Ed,
Chandler, Rose, and Gaethje.
I'm gonna go Ferguson.
You talked all this shit about Oliveira, and then you pick Gaethje.
I'm gonna go Ferguson,
No, I
Namajunas,
kind of want
Gaethje,
Oliveira to win.
Elijah.
I'm
I'll be
going off
honest.
favorites.
Yeah.
Chandler,
Yeah.
Rose, and Oliveira.
I just if you
Okay, and
ask
Mike.
Chandler, Rose, and Gaethje.
Okay.
Gaethje.
All right, so you guys heard it here. This is episode 16 of the Adaptive Podcast. We had wonderful guest tonight, Mike Trottini. Thank you so much for
Oliveira.
joining us, dude.
And shout out, by the way, guys, to Richie. Richie also got his brown belt in the same class as Trottini. We had some technical difficulties and we couldn't get him on the show.
We really wanted him on the show tonight.
Really
too.
wanted him on the show tonight.
Sorry, buddy.
We're
man.
really sorry, bro.
Len,
We're
I
gonna
feel
get
like you
on
warm
here.
up as the show goes on. The technical difficulties get less as the show goes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, that happens every time.
Hey, that's what you get with a live show. That's what we say every week. Hey, there's going to be something we fuck up every single week. Thank you so much for dealing with it.
Enjoy the fuck ups in the beginning, sticking through with us.
Yeah, man, Mike, it was great to have you
Thanks,
join
guys.
us,
Thank-
dude.
thank
It's
you.
always been a
Thanks.
pleasure training with you throughout all these years. We hope everybody checks out your music at on Apple Music and on Spotify. Check out Mike at Mike_Trottini on Instagram. You can check us out at Adaptive Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram and at adaptivejujitsu.com to see our website, our gear. And of course, the podcast itself would not be possible without Radji Barret Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Please check out Radji at Radji Barret Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram and his website, RadjiBarrettJiu-Jitsu.com. You can see his schedule, his gear, his kind of website and culture. Come check us out. Come train with us. Come be part of the podcast, dude. Get to know us. Come on. Sit down in the studio.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Enjoy the fights. Fucking, I know I am. So,
enjoy the fights tonight. The main card is just getting started. And, thanks again for joining, commenting, like, and subscribe. We love you guys. Thanks again, Mike, for joining us. And we hope you'll join us again
Yeah, man.
Thanks, guys.
next week and every other week after. You're part of the show now for good. You
live
have
here
no
now.
choice. You live here now. We love you guys. Thank you again. And we'll see you guys
Later.
next week.
peace.
This is real? This is real life right now?
She's an eye for an eye kind of girl.
They definitely still hear us.
This is a band that's also friends with us.